Hi everybody, this is the baseball, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, and welcome back to the baseball. I hope you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. So prior to Sunday's game, Mets made a whole bunch of moves. Because they had a lot of problems with the bullpen. They did get saved on Sunday with Luis Severino pitching 7 innings and 2 innings before the rains came with Adrian Hauser. But Mets made a whole bunch of moves. I expect some more moves to happen because this bullpen needs a lot of help. This bullpen is in need of help, and I would think that if this team continues to play well and keeps their record above 500, at 500, above 500, they're going to be looking for bullpen help in particular. They need some help. They need some pitching help. Guys that don't want batters, that's for sure. If I ever see Jake Diekman again, I would be a very happy Hut at this point. But here's from Mets Horizon. They put out all the different moves the Mets put out on Sunday. Mets announced plethora of roster moves ahead of series finale against the Houston Astros. And again, the subscribe button. Let's see. And the New York Mets are in a roster crunch, so the continued turnover, especially in the bullpen, continues. The team announced Sunday morning the following roster moves. There's a lot to digest, and there's going to be more in the coming days. Right-handed pitcher Tylor Megill and left-handed pitcher Danny Young got sent off to AAA. Tylor Megill needs to do something. I don't know what, but I don't know if he's going to be a starter long-term for any team. I would mention his brother Trevor is a good reliever. His brother's a good reliever, so I don't see why he wouldn't be a good reliever, but I don't know if the mentality's there for him. And Danny Young, the lefty, he got sent off back to AAA. Then they brought up Tylor J, left-handed pitcher, and right-handed pitcher Matt Festa. And they were selected from the AAA Syracuse Mets. Brooks Raley, who's been hurt, has been transferred to the 60-day injury list. That's why they can shift him off the 40-man roster. That's why they did that. And outfielder Duke Ellis has been designated for assignment. Now, I would mention about Duke Ellis. He was put on the Mets 40-man roster because he was on the White Sox. The Mets picked him up off of waivers. So I expect him not to go anywhere. He'll get sent down to AAA, I would think. I would be very surprised if some other team would pick him up. They have him stashed in the minors for his legs if the Mets get to postseason or make a postseason run in September. Tylor Megill's rough season continued on Saturday as he was only able to last 5 1/3 innings and gave up 4 runs and 5 hits. His season ERA sits at 5.08 as his career-long struggles to emerge as a consistent Major League starter continues. Megill's demotion paves the way for Christian Scott to be recalled and make a start within a week, and also allows for a much-needed fresh bullpen arm to arrive for Sunday's series finale. According to Gary Cohen, Mets broadcaster, he said on Channel 11 on Saturday that Christian Scott was going to pitch on Tuesday against the Nationals in Washington. Also, Danny Young continues his up-and-down movement in the system. Young tossed 1 1/3 innings in Saturday's contest, allowing 3 runs and 2 hits. His Major League ERA sits at 5.11 on the season. The fresh reinforcements of the bullpen are in the form of left-handed Tylor J and right-hander Matt Festa. J, who has tossed 4 innings in the big leagues this season, has done 36 for AAA Syracuse. He owns a 2.00 ERA. He last pitched for Syracuse on June 28th. It's Friday. Meanwhile, Matt Festa, who signed a minor league deal with the Mets after being released by the San Diego Padres organization early in the season, has 3.16 ERA in AAA this year, split between 2 organizations. He has impressed since joining Syracuse, tossing 15 1/3 innings with 19 strikeouts and a 1.76 ERA. Festa last pitched on June 25th for Syracuse and has 7 appearances with the AAA Mets of longer than 1 inning. So if needs be, he can give the Mets some length. He owns a 4.32 ERA, 4.77 FIP across 93 2/3 Major League innings. So with Seattle, all with Seattle. He threw 54 innings for the Mariners in 2022, posting a 4.17 ERA with 64 strikeouts. He throws mainly 2 pitches, a low 90s fastball and a sweeper. Additionally, Brooks Raley underwent Tommy John surgery about a month ago, so his move on the 60-day injured list was expected at some point. His season has been over, fortunately. Alfred Duguels was claimed off of waivers from the White Sox on June 16th. He was with the Binghamton Roma ponies at the time of his DFA. Now, I would mention again, they DFA'd him from Double-A. He's all likely is going to clear waivers. The Mets will have him in the minor league system. If they need him in September, he'll be there. But if some team picks him up, they'll let him go. They'll take that risk. So now the Mets have made all these moves on Sunday prior to their loss to the Astros. One thing that was discussed after the game was Kodai Senga. He was throwing in the outfield with his uniform on, so he's getting ready to do a rehab assignment. I think we all know how important he is to this team because this team doesn't have an ace. I mean, Luis Severino has pitched pretty good for the Mets. He's healthy, and he's been able to sort of pitch really well for this club. But the Mets need a legitimate ace in this staff, and obviously not having Senga here for the first half of the season has been difficult to stomach. Because when you have an ace pitcher, we all know that when you have that big guy at the top of the rotation, it makes everything easier. And this is a guy that pitched great last year and came in second in the voting for Rookie of the Year. And he was an all-star. He pitched really well. So he's so important to this team because he gives you length. He gives you professionalism in terms of how he pitches. And hopefully we'll get him back hopefully by August 1st. And that'll be a huge boost. I mean, it's basically like making a big trade for a starting pitcher. Now, I don't know where the Mets are going to go with some of their starting pitching because they do have a lot of veteran players that are here. Severino, which I would not trade Severino at all. I mean, you'll probably get a lot for him. I would not trade him. I think he has too much experience pitching in New York, too much experience, obviously, in playoff spots and in playing in New York. But I would not give him an extension. Let him play the year out. We'll see what happens after the offseason. Sean Manaea and Luis Severino are a different story there, obviously. Those guys, you can move them. Or at least one of them you can move. And you could be okay. I do like the fact the Mets have two lefties in their rotation. But they're kind of similar to a certain degree. But going back to Senga, Senga coming in is going to transform this rotation because this rotation, they walk too many batters. The whole pitching staff walks too many batters. And that doesn't help the defense, obviously. When you throw a lot of pitches in an inning, the guys are all the fielders are on their heels, are all waiting for the pitches to be thrown. It doesn't help your defense. But that's how important he is to this team. And, we're going to just keep our fingers crossed that he stays healthy, gets himself prepared to come back, and we can have him for the last 2 months of this drive, this pennant drive, this wild card race drive, because the Mets have a good shot at this thing, because the schedule's going to get a lot better after over the next 2 weeks, obviously. Having to play the Nationals, the Marlins, the Pirates, and, of course, the Rockies. I would mention that on Friday, the Mets are going up against Paul Skeens. Oh boy, that is going to be some big challenge for the Mets, I'll tell you that. Now, on Tuesday, according to all kinds of reports, Gary Cohen said this on Saturday, the Mets are going to pitch Christian Scott, who's been in the minor leagues for the last few weeks. They're just managing his innings, and he's going to pitch on Tuesday, which is great. They obviously sent Tylor Megill out of here. Hopefully he'll pitch a lot better because I was very disappointed that he was throwing and throwing so many bases on balls. That is a major concern that I have for this pitching staff. Is that they walk too many batters. They give up too many free outs, extra pitches. This is killing the bullpen and it's killing this pitching staff. They're constantly walking batters. And he's been a guy that's been known as a strike thrower. I hope that he pitches much better. Because his first couple of starts, he was good. Then it sort of took a lag, sort of dragged down, which was kind of unusual for a kid that's been a guy that does do nothing but throw strikes. So my concern, obviously, has been for this particular pitching coach the Mets having, Jeremy Hefner, who I'm not a big fan of. I think I've complained enough about him over the last few years and how important the pitching coach is. But he's going to go on Tuesday, so that's exciting. I guess David Peterson's going on Monday against the Nationals. He's going against this prospect, James Wood, that Washington's going to send up against the Mets. I'll cover all this stuff. And obviously, if you're not on X, and if you're not on Facebook, you need to hit the subscribe button for the Baseball Hut. And we'll talk about all the stuff. I mean, I'm sort of basically getting to the point now. I just want to talk about everything here. So, thank you for watching this video. And of course, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.